It's no secret that corporate America is in the censorious grip of ESG activists. Ideologues know they could never realize their radical vision of reshaping how we live and what we believe through the political process. So instead, they've commandeered many of our nation's major corporations as vehicles to impose policies that only gain a hearing in the rarefied air of an Ivy League faculty lounge or a plenary session at the World Economic Forum. In the process, major household brands are working against the values, beliefs, and even financial interests of their own shareholders and customers like you and me. Worse, they sometimes work hand in hand with the federal government to undermine the very God-given freedoms our nation was formed to preserve and protect. One of the central reasons behind the ideological capture of corporate America has been a lack of meaningful engagement from mainstream Americans. Rather than hearing from shareholders and financial professionals across a wide political and religious spectrum, C-suite leaders have often been bombarded with heavy-handed demands from far-left groups like the Human Rights Campaign, which threaten severe consequences if companies don't fall in line with their highly divisive policy prescriptions. HRC began rating companies in 2002. At first, a perfect score on HRC's index meant a company's policies included certain non-discrimination provisions and offered healthcare benefits to employees' same-sex partners. Now, HRC moves the goalposts each year in a way that commits companies to some of the most extreme political goals of LGBTQ plus activists. For example, to earn 100% this year, HRC is demanding that companies cover puberty blockers for youth in their healthcare plans. HRC also requires companies to take deeply partisan stances on or against legislation and to provide targeted marketing and support for LGBTQ plus consumers. To put it simply, HRC is demanding that each company risk becoming the next Bud Light, which famously torpedoed its own brand by partnering with the highly controversial transgender activist Dylan Mulvaney. Companies shouldn't take fringe stances on contentious political issues. It alienates customers, pushes away talented workers, and betrays the trust of the shareholders who want the company to succeed. That's why Alliance Defending Freedom developed the Viewpoint Diversity Score Business Index, the first comprehensive benchmark designed to measure corporate respect for free speech and religious freedom. The index provides a roadmap for corporations looking to de-politicize their products and services. Working with a broad coalition of financial professionals, business leaders, shareholders, and state officials over the past couple of years, we're already seeing some important victories from our efforts. Take our work on politicized debanking. In 2023, we found that over 60% of the 75 largest tech and financial companies, including 7 of the nation's 10 largest commercial banks, have reputational risk or hate speech policies that openly threaten their customers with cancellation or punishment. These vaguely worded policies are a threat to everyone, practically guaranteeing censorship against Americans of every political and religious stripe. Under cover of these policies, Bank of America, PayPal, Wells Fargo, and others have closed the accounts of mainstream conservative and religious groups. The most notable example came when JPMorgan Chase debanked former Ambassador Sam Brownback's National Committee for Religious Freedom in 2022. In response, Alliance Defending Freedom spearheaded a sustained campaign of public engagement with Chase leadership that included a high-profile shareholder proposal from financial advisor David Bahnsen. We won. By the end of 2023, the bank had quietly dropped its payment processor's social risk policy that included problematic language such as hate and intolerance. This is a major step in the right direction, one that could make a lasting change in the entire banking industry and provide millions of Americans the freedom to live and work without fear of being punished for their beliefs. Meanwhile, we're also seeing an encouraging turnaround in the overall shareholder process itself. For years, companies could depend on the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, to swat down conservative shareholder proposals. But that's changed over the last year when ADF-backed shareholders went 3 for 3 at the SEC. Together, we broke through the agency's stranglehold on the topics shareholders are permitted to raise with corporate leadership by allowing shareholders to vote on resolutions that promoted transparency and viewpoint diversity at Chase, Apple, and PayPal. No doubt, there's a long way to go in the effort to liberate corporate America from its anti-business, anti-freedom captors. We're not yet to the goal, but the journey has begun. To find out more about how Alliance Defending Freedom is protecting free speech and religious liberty, visit adflegal.org. Before you leave, click like on this video and subscribe to this channel so you never miss an episode.